Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Lamont. I am the publisher of In 30 Minutes Guides, including Social Security in 30 Minutes by author Emily Pogue. And one really neat thing that Emily did in the second volume of her book is she compared the two programs, SSDI and SSI, side by side. And both of these programs, these are intended for people who are disabled. However, the way that the programs work, it's not the same. If you're disabled, you can qualify for maybe one of the programs like SSI or the other one, SSDI. Sometimes you can qualify for both. But Emily really broke it out how the two programs are different. And basically, once you get past you have to get past qualification for either program. And the Social Security Administration, they have all kinds of rules related to that. I'm not going to get into that here. But then there's also some general differences, which this chart explains. And this is in Chapter 4 of Volume 2 of Social Security in 30 Minutes. So first of all, work credits. Now, work credits, this is how the Social Security Administration determines if you're eligible for retirement benefits and other types of benefits. But that also includes SSDI. And while retirement benefits, I think you have to be working for a total of 10 work credits, and each work credit is equal to about 3 months of employment. For SSDI, I don't think you need to have 10. Like, you can be a younger worker and maybe you don't have that much work history, and you can still qualify for SSDI if you become disabled. For SSI, you do not need to have a work history or have work credits, at least. If you have them, that's okay, but if you don't have them, that's fine too. So who is eligible? So for SSDI, on the right, benefits can be paid to disabled person or to children, elderly or disabled family members. So this is important to note. So it's basically centered on a person, on a former worker, or maybe someone who's still working but at a much reduced rate, who qualifies for SSDI. But also children, even if they're not disabled, they can receive the benefit as well. And this is explained in more detail, not only in the book but also on the Social Security Administration website. For SSI, only the disabled individual receives the benefit, and that can be an adult who is disabled or a child who is disabled. The first payment, there's some differences in how these work out. Benefits start the 6th month for SSDI. After the disability begins. For SSI, there's no waiting period, and the payments arrive by the 1st of the month. By the way, one other thing to note about SSI, if you qualify for SSI, you also qualify for Medicaid, which is a health program for people who are pretty destitute. Does income affect eligibility? So earnings are limited to SGA, and this has come up. This is mentioned in the book. It's also mentioned in other videos I've done. And of course, it's described in great detail on the Social Security Administration website. But SGA is substantial gainful activity. And there's a definition which kind of explains, your ability to work, but also there's a monetary limit basically on how much you can earn. Like, let's say you're still able to work a little bit, even though you have a disability. That's called SGA. Currently, it's about $2,000 for blind individuals, and I think $1,200 for individuals who are not blind. That's the SGA level. This number will go up over time. Check the Social Security Administration website to see the current SGA levels. But this chart also shows there's no unearned income limits, and unearned income might be income outside of receiving your wage or salary. For SSI, as your income rises, your SSI benefit may go down. And basically, SSI, it's scaled. It depends on what your assets and what your income are. So if you have more, you'll get a smaller SSI benefit. But if you really don't have much at all, and there's very specific rules around this, you will get a greater SSI benefit. And then there's also resource asset limits. This chart for SSI, this chart really doesn't lay out what those asset limits are. And there's also, there's a couple other, I guess you could say, complications relating to owning a house or a vehicle, insurance, even money that might be set aside for a burial or something like that. So the book explains this a little bit, but again, the website really gets into great detail. And of course, if you have specific questions about your case, you should talk with somebody at the Social Security Administration. Interestingly, for SSDI, this is for workers who are disabled, your resources and assets aren't limited. So let's say that you live in a mansion and you have a couple Teslas in your garage, and you get injured on the job and you're not able to work as you were before, and you qualify for SSDI. The Social Security Administration doesn't care about those assets, about those resources. All they really do care about is SGA. That is the kind of the income that you're still able to make, like wage income. But they don't really care, about your other assets you may or may not have. SSI is a totally different thing. The book gives an overview of this, but also, as I said before, check in with the Social Security Administration. And then finally, there's one other element to this chart. What happens to my benefits if I get a job? So for, again, SSI, it depends on your countable income. And also for SSDI, limited work may be possible. But both of these gets into SGA again, substantial gainful activity, and maybe how much you're making from your job. And the levels are currently about $1,200 for non-blind individuals and about $2,000 for individuals who are blind. The book gives an overview of this. The Social Security Administration can give you much more information about that. And note that for SSDI, there'll be periodic evaluation of chronic condition required. And depending on what the condition is, it might be every 2 or 3 years, or it might be every 7 years that they have you be reevaluated to see if your condition has improved or changed or gotten worse or whatever. For more information on either one of the guides, Social Security in 30 Minutes, Volume 1, Retirement Benefits, Volume 2, Disability Benefits, go to in30minutes.com to check it out. Learn more about the author, Emily Pogue, who worked in Social Security, with disabled individuals for many years. My name is Ian Lamont. I'm the publisher of In 30 Minutes Guides. Look for our other videos on YouTube, and thank you so much for watching.